So this one, disciples have been discipled. That is absolutely the ideal situation for a church. And that is why I recommend churches start small with discipleship. Because your first leaders may have had some discipleship experience in a different context, but not exactly like this. And some of them may have had no discipleship experience. Typically, discipleship leaders in churches I work with have had no discipleship experience. And so they have to get from 0 to 60 miles an hour without having been discipled. So the idea is, with some good help and support of each other, and we'll talk about that tomorrow evening, how that can look, to help and support on an ongoing basis, discipleship leaders, they can get over that hump the first year and get that experience the first year. It can be done with coaching help and helping each other and so forth. I've seen it over and over, and it can be done. But you don't want 60 leaders doing that, trying to learn that all at once. You want a few trying to learn it, and others be discipled by them. And ideally then, in year 2, maybe you start a couple of new groups. Maybe you've got a couple people that are ready, but they come out of the groups. In year 3, maybe you start some more groups. Those leaders come out of the groups. So they meet this. They've been discipled. They've been discipled. Randy Pope used to say, start one group. Pastors start one group. I differ from that a little bit. I like to see a few groups started, because I've really seen leaders impact each other and encourage each other, and I think the result's better when you start a few groups. But Perimeter made a grand mistake. Go back to that story I told you when we decided we needed to start discipleship, a lot of us. We started 15 men's groups and 15 women's groups. And every leader at Perimeter that was involved in that will tell you today that was a grand mistake. We started too much, too fast. And then we tried to grow it from there really fast. And so what happened is, you get some groups that are doing well, some groups that are doing so-so, and some groups, if you visited them after this weekend, you understand more about what we're talking about with Life and Life Discipleship. If you sat in on some of those groups, you would go, was John lying to us? This isn't what he was talking about, because it's not real discipleship. They're doing all kinds of things that are ineffective. So that's what happens if you go too far too fast. There's a church I work with in Austin, and they started 6 groups, I believe. I coached them through the first year by phone, and the pastor just said, "This is so great. He opened it up to the congregation, and they started some more groups with leaders that hadn't been discipled." I happened to be in Austin working with another church last month, and I met with this pastor, and he's a good friend. And I said, "Tell me about how your discipleship groups are going." He said, "We have 1." They increased from 6 to like 15 in the second year. Today, they have 1. So they're kind of needing to restart, and he knows it. He said, "Yeah, John, we did a lot of the things that you told us not to do." He said, this was such good stuff, I just wanted to do more of it. So ideally, this is the case, but when you start, you need to violate this a little bit. But you do it with help, and you do it intentionally and knowingly with the right leaders that you have confidence can make it over that hump. Invite them into your life to earn the right to be heard. Absolutely. You are not just going into a weekly meeting with some people when you disciple. If you picture Jesus, he selected the 12. He gets them all together in a room. And he said, "Guys, in 3 years, I'm going to heaven. I'm leaving you. You're my plan. You're going to take this faith to the world. I know you don't have a clue. I know that scares you. You don't have a clue. But look, I got a plan. It's going to be okay. This room we're in now, we're going to meet here at this same time every week for an hour and a half for 3 years. Don't see each other in between. We might see each other in church and wave, but hour and a half a week, 3 years, you got it." Now, who would believe that that would have worked? Obviously, that wasn't Jesus' plan. That didn't transfer his life to their life. That wasn't Life on Life. It's got to get outside that room. You have to invite them into your life. And what does that mean? It means different things for different people. But what can you share in your life with another group of women or another group of men? Who can you, if you go running, who can you run with? If you ride a bike, who can you ride a bike with? If you go shopping, who can you shop with? And what is it you already do that you can have others do with you? If you play golf, that's an easy one. You need people to play golf with. So think about sharing life. Don't think about having a group meeting. A group meeting is an important part of it in our context, but it has to be far from being all of it. So are you willing to open your life up and invite people into your life? It's okay if you're not. Not everybody in here is going to be, doing this. But for some people, you might be going, it scares the heck out of me, but man, I believe that would please God. I'd like to do that. Or are you one that would like to be invited into someone else's life? Are you willing to do that? And you're really inviting each other into each other's lives. That's what you're doing. That's what doing life together, that's what life and life means. So that was a very good one. Thank you for that. What else do you think about when you think about what Jesus did and what might that look like in a church approach to this today?
Jesus prayed and he taught us discipleship.
All right. Jesus prayed and taught prayer to his disciples. Taught it. He prayed and he taught it. What kind of results would you like to see? If you discipled 5 men or 5 women for 3 years, you shared your life with them, you invited them into your life, you sacrificed other plans you had, you sacrificed your lifestyle maybe in some ways, what would you love to see happen in those lives? Anybody?
Maturity.
To see them grow.
You'd like to see them grow?
Grow in the Lord.
Grow in the Lord? Yes? Somebody?
I said maturity.
Maturity, spiritual maturity.
For them to go out and do the same thing.
You'd like to see, very good, you'd like to see them, you replicate yourself in them, replicate what you did and have them do it in the lives of others. It seems like there's a Bible verse, 2 Timothy 2:2. These things I have taught you, find faithful men who will teach others, who will teach others. You'd like to see that happen. What else would you like to see? Practically speaking, what would you like to see happen in their marriage?
Grow.
Their marriage would grow. Their parenting would become a better parent.